Hello and welcome back, Cozy Club. It's a beautiful day as always for some DSA, and we've got ourselves quite the requested character spotlight today. One of the characters that you guys have been wanting to know more details about, because at first glance, her kit does not seem too complicated, but there is so much going on with today's character spotlight. I am wearing all of the colors of the wind for this princess, and it is none other than Pocahontas, guys. We talked about yesterday, Pocahontas is one of the rising characters within April, and there's so much going on with her kit. And as an added bonus, outside of Hero Hamada, she's got one of the best leaderships in the game, and that's pretty rare for DSA. So in today's video, we're going to go over the basics of Pocahontas, her abilities in depth. We're going to go and look into these abilities and kind of talk about how you can use them within the battlefield, the best teammates, the best game modes, stones, and pretty much everything that you need to know about Pocahontas. But before we jump into today's in-depth guide for the Pocahontas character spotlight, I want to remind you guys, we are doing a giveaway here at the Cozy Club. We're doing a gym giveaway along with a full roster review from myself. I'm going to go through all of them. We can do it on voice. I can send it to you in an Excel sheet. It's going to be your choice, and all you have to do is download Disney Emoji Blitz using the link in the description down below. Get to level 10, send a screenshot over to my Twitter to show that you got to level 10. And in addition, the link below does serve as a creator code, so anything that's purchased within the game does support myself and the channel to allow me to make the content for you guys. I appreciate you guys, Cozy Club, being such a strong supporting community and just backing up all the content creation that I do. So with that being said, let's go ahead and jump into today's video. Poca. Well, here's the deal, Cozy Club. We've been talking about Pocahontas pretty much since the birth of the Cozy Club. We wanted her to get a rework for a long time. She finally got the rework, and she got probably the best of the batch outside of Merida when it came to the wilds, getting retouched up and ready to go. Just like Dr. Facilier can pretty much, all of her abilities do so much for her allies and herself. So like we talked about, Pocahontas has a very complex kit. So make sure, get cozy, get comfortable, because we're going to go full in depth into each and every one of her abilities, starting out with her basic attack. So out of all of Pocahontas' abilities, this is probably the least crazy. There's not a lot going on with her basics, and that's because the developers pumped everything else into her other abilities. Her attack here is really just going to deal some nice damage, about 2,000 damage, and it's going to give her a chance to put haste on herself, making Poca all that much faster within the battlefield, which you definitely want a fast Pocahontas because of her abilities. You want to get those out right away. And we're going to talk about her passive, but Poca's one of those characters that she is going to immediately help the battlefield as soon as the battle starts, and we'll get to that in a bit. But I want to kind of talk about something with the basic. You're not going to see the basic used a lot in the in-game, because really, after she uses both abilities, she's pretty much going to be done with, or the battle is going to be decided or over by then. But in the case that you call her to assist, or that you need to use the basic, it's nice that she can give herself some haste to go ahead and do what she does best and use her abilities on her allies. All right, so I've made some awesome graphics for you guys to follow along with all this complex kit. Let's go ahead. Let's check out her first really full ability outside of the basic, and that is going to be the Spirit of the Wolf. You're going to go ahead and grant your target teammates 2 turns of life drain. They're going to get 1 turn of offense up, and in addition, you're going to fill their speed meter by 15%. Now, if they are wild and they're adjacent, they're also going to get the chance to gain up to other buffs and get that speed turn meter to not only the main target, but also adjacents. Now, we're going to talk about it in the video, but as you guys know, the wild faction isn't screaming meta. There's really, outside of a few characters in there, you've got Elsa, Merida. There's some good, solid gems in there, but you're not going to be using this a ton. So Pocahontas, she's going to scale nicely as more wild characters come into the game, but they're going to have a chance to gain turn meter, life drain, and offense up. Okay, so let's look at the bullet points on this graphic and what's great about this ability. Now, first of all, when you look at the bottom left, you can go ahead and see the enemy's turn meter. Well, with this ability, you kind of want to look at where your turn meter is at for your ally so that you can bump them a little bit ahead of the enemy to go ahead and do what they need to do. So I recommend going to give this to an offense character so they get that offense up, they get the life drain, and then maybe you can jump ahead of the enemy within the turn order. This is obviously great for those hard-hitting offense characters. Now, next up, you want to make sure you position offense characters or wild faction characters according to how you kind of plan out the battle. Make sure, if you haven't seen it, go check out the positioning guide up above. But you want to make sure that you have adjacent to the main target characters that are going to benefit from both life drain and possibly offense up. You don't want to be giving offense up to someone like Baymax. So adjacent to Pocahontas, make sure you've got some great heavy hitters or wild faction characters behind them. In addition to that, it's best to give this to the following characters below. You can really give this to anyone to give them the jump in the battlefield and turn meter. Now, looking at this graphic here, you guys can see it's mostly hero characters that you want to give this to. Pocahontas, obviously, under her leadership, needs characters to be in the hero faction. We do have Shere Khan in here, and we do have Hades and Sheriff. But for the most part, if you're having Pocahontas as a lead, there's mainly going to only be hero characters. However, characters like Donald Duck, Elsa, Sven, Sheriff are all characters that do more damage depending on the buffs that they have. And in addition, they all pack a punch, so giving them life drain and offense up is going to be advantageous for your team. Characters that counter like Donald Duck and Beast are great characters to go and give a life drain to, so they can go ahead and counter and get all that life back. Beast being a great character to go ahead and give that to. And then the rest here, you got awesome offense characters. Scrooge does better with helpful effects. Pretty much you can't go wrong if you want to jump the turn meter or give it to one of these insanely powerful offense characters. Life drain can be extremely clutch. If you have a character about to die, you can quickly give them speed turn meter, give them life drain, have them do some nice damage, and heal right back up. Someone like Hercules, this just has him written all over it. But enough about Spirit of the Wolf. Let's go and jump into Colors of the Wind. Guys, we've talked about Colors of the Wind, one of the best abilities within the game because it does everything you could possibly want it to do. One of the reasons I love Pocahontas mainly is because if they don't focus down Pocahontas, she's simply going to transfer all those harmful effects to a target opponent, heal up her allies, and then also she's going to cleanse everybody. And so it's going to completely demolish all of the work that the enemy has done on your team. And so she definitely calls a lot of attention to herself. But just like Rapunzel, she's not this offense powerhouse. However, all the abilities that she has make sure a priority target for the enemy, allowing for your other characters to survive a little longer. Or if they just go full for your best offensive character, Pocahontas is going to heal them up and also cleanse the entire team. So let's go ahead and break down Colors of the Wind. Now, just ignore the damage, the 1500 per teammate. It's going to scale massively. You guys can see the scale right here, 1 through 10, and that is going to be talking about harmful effects. Now, Poca is going to get better depending on the harmful effects inflicted on your team. The more harmful effects, the better, and that is why you typically want to save this move for either one of two things: healing up your entire team, or if you're just loaded with harmful effects, you want to go ahead and cleanse those and transfer them to the enemy. Now, you don't want to use this right away. If you're just now getting to Poca's first turn, probably start with Spirit of the Wolf unless the enemy just demolished your team. You want to make sure you've got a healthy amount of harmful effects on the field, or your team is in critical need of health, because you guys can see the scaling here is absolutely insanity. For absolutely nothing out there, she's going to deal 7,500 damage. And then if there are 10 harmful effects that she then transferred, she's going to deal 22,500 damage. And then on the flip side, again, she's getting 20% bonus to both damage and health. She's going to heal your own team, everybody on the battlefield, the following health. If there's nothing on the battlefield, every single teammate is going to get about 3,000 healing. And if they have 10 harmful effects, she's going to be healing 8,646 healing for every teammate on the field, guys. That is over 40,000 health for everyone on the field. Absolutely insane and game-changing amount of health. One of the best healers in the game, and also all of this can have a chance to crit for even more health and more damage. Pocahontas right here, this is what makes her great. This is what makes her such a huge threat on the battlefield. And she's one of those characters that invite the enemy to go and inflict those harmful effects, because she's going to put it right back at them. Now, in addition, one of my favorite things about this ability is a lot of these abilities that transfer harmful effects, they're not able to transfer some of those powerful debuffs like sleep, charm, polymorph, all those great ones. Poca can. You can go ahead and take that polymorph on your Hercules, slap it on the other Hercules. You can take sleep, charm, anything that's on your team and put it right back on the enemy. Also within the raids, you can go and put the debuffs back on the raid bosses. Super effective and super helpful to shut down, not only just shut down the enemy, but just turn the tide of battle. They've polymorphed, they've charmed your best character. You think you're out of the fight, Poca's just gonna flip it on a dime. So Colors of the Wind, you can see the scaling. Absolutely clutch and amazing ability. Let's quickly look at her passive, Spirit of the Deer. Very unique because it's going to trigger at the battle start, and then every single 2 turns Poca has, you're going to have a chance to trigger this again. Now, Conjuring Cauldron is great to pair up with this. Let's go ahead and see what it can do. Now, on the battle start or on Poca's turn start, a teammate with the lowest speed meter is going to gain the following. You're going to fill the speed meter by 15%, restore up to about 5,000 health, and then if the target is at full health, which at the beginning of battle they all are, they're going to gain evade. And in addition, if your ally is a wild teammate, they're going to gain haste. Y'all, there is a lot of calculating. There's a lot of great things in strategic play with this ability, and this is one of my favorite things about Pocahontas next to Colors of the Wind. Now, what you want to do is look at the team that you use Pocahontas with, look at all of their speed, make sure you calculate the leadership abilities and things like that, and your slowest character is going to gain an evade at the beginning of the battle. This is going to give them a significant boost, as well as they're going to gain 15% speed meter. So looking at the bullet points here, you can go ahead, make sure you double check your character speed stats. You want to ensure that the right character is going to get the evade and the bonus speed turn meter. This is typically going to be the tanks that you have out on the field. They're usually the slowest characters out there. So Baymax with that auto taunt, doesn't matter if there's a Zerg on the field because he's going to start with an evade. Insanely strong ability, and you can really start to see how amazing that this is. Now, in addition, Zerg, Hercules, Elsa, those are great characters that are a little on the slow side. If you have an offense stone on them, they're going to gain that speed meter buff as well. And getting an evade is going to add massive survivability to the turn start. They're not going to be susceptible to those big hits that Hero Hamada can upgrade and do some massive hits with Zerg and Hercules. Your own offense characters are going to get that extra layer of protection. And then also people like Elsa and other wild characters are going to get those bonus benefits of haste for being a wild character. Now, as for wild characters, Elsa, Merida, Simba, Shere Khan, and Sven are all great to receive that turn meter. Merida can absolutely pack a punch. She does better with more princesses, so there's a natural synergy there to make Merida the slowest on the battlefield. Now, also, one last thing I want to note is that this does pair perfectly, like I said, with Conjuring Cauldron, because you can go ahead and reduce the cooldown not only on her abilities, but also on the passives. Great ability altogether. She can go ahead and really jump you ahead of the enemy, and this has sometimes saved me on the battlefield. Strong passive, recommend it 10 out of 10. Now, Cozy Club, if you don't have your notepad out, rip it out right now, or you can find these graphics in my Discord. I'll put the link down below in the description as well. We are at her leadership ability, and what really gives Pocahontas all the theory crafting, all the strategicness about her, because there's so many different character combinations that you can make. And because it's got the catch-all hero character synergy, she's going to continue to be a great leader for the hero faction. Now, looking at what it does altogether, offense, defense, and support are all 3 roles within DSA, and each of them are going to gain a different unique bonus if they are a hero character. So taking a look, hero offense teammates are going to gain up to 12% bonus offense. That is 2% more than a medium stone and almost a full complete maxed out stone on the character. So let's take, for instance, you have an Elsa with a maxed out 15% offense stone. Put this on top with both the wild bonus and the offense bonus. You get 27% with the leadership, an additional 4% for being a wild character. You're looking at 31% bonus offense for Elsa, Cozy Club. I mean, the possibilities under a Pocahontas leadership is endless, and it gets me really excited for all the theory crafting that you can do with Poca. Looking at defense, teammates, they're going to gain 12% bonus defense for extra survivability in their tank roles. Now, under support, these characters are going to be the ones that actually are going to get some bonuses out of that bonus recovery, or they need that extra potency to land a harmful effect. Mickey Mouse with Disneyland Forever, you get that extra recovery. Woody is a massive medic that does consistent healing. We've talked about this a lot. Natural, a great fit under Pocahontas. You've got people like Belle with her healing. Anna has great use for this as well. Violet with more shields, and Ariel altogether. This is an absolutely great thing to pair up, and even if you don't want to use Hero Hamada, you can also put Hero not as a lead to get some extra shields. Now, again, villain teammates, they're not going to get these effects, so it's only for hero characters. Followed by Wilds are going to get an additional 4% bonus to each stat. Let's wrap up and look at the last 3 things about Poca. I knew the beginning of this was going to be mostly about those abilities and how strong those abilities are and complex. But looking at it, the rest is pretty easy. As far as stones go, 9 times out of 10, you want to put a speed stone on her. The faster the Poca, the better. And as far as game modes, just like some of the other characters we have reviewed so far, Poca's going to be great for all the game modes. Tower, she doesn't have a unique use for, but it's just not a bad decision. And then obviously PvP, the Raid, she's phenomenal for cleansing the poison. And then Club Conquest, she's got the Princess Tower. So altogether, very strong character in all game modes. Let's go ahead and take a look at that ability priority. So if we were looking for cons with Pocahontas, she is a little bit heavy as far as beta and investments go. A lot of her abilities, because of how amazing they are, they're going to need a little bit of leveling up. So looking at her ability priority, you want to get that basic up to the 50% damage. If you really use Poca everywhere, maybe give her that extra haste at level 4. And then looking at Spirit of the Wolf, level 4 with no question. Level 3 for Colors of the Wind. Level 3 for the passive. You don't have to take that to level 4. The healing is not going to happen on a consistent basis, so don't really worry about wasting your betas there. And then lastly, you want to max out the leadership ability if you want to use Poca as a lead. If you don't plan on using Poca as a lead, because she is a phenomenal plug-and-play character, do not level up the leadership ability, but everything else is fair game. And letting y'all know, Pocahontas, she just gets so much bang for her buck with all these ability upgrades. Each one offers the ability up a full another tier. So with confidence, you can invest in these abilities. And like we talked about, with all the hero characters coming out, Disney's like 85-90% hero. Poca's going to continue to be a great lead. All right, we are at the end of the video. Let's look at some great Pocahontas teams. Now, one of the things I continue to say on my stream is, I feel like the best Pocahontas team probably hasn't even been discovered because of how massive the wide theory crafting is under her leadership ability. But these are some of my favorites, not necessarily all the best, but some of my favorites is going to be Pocahontas, Hercules, Phil or Pegasus, Baymax, and then you can choose Woody or Meg. This is an extremely hard team to kill with something like Hammer or Grandma Tala. Extremely tough to take this team down. Under that, you've got a free-to-play team a little bit outside of Baymax or Elsa, but most of you guys that have been playing for a while now should have these characters. Pocahontas is going to be a great lead to throw Anna, Elsa, get a big Elsa advantage with that huge offense. Baymax for the protection and Woody for the heals. This is going to be great because you're going to get that bonus defense for Baymax, the bonus healing for Woody, and the bonus offense to tear down your enemies with Elsa. Now, lastly, the bottom team here is going to be a hero lead, which Poca is going to be a plug-and-play character. You're going to have Mickey Mouse able to really support the cast around him. Merida is going to be perfect to team up with Poca, as she can go ahead, give Spirit of the Wolf over to her and really max her out. Make sure with this team, Merida is your slowest, which is not going to be hard to do. And then lastly, obviously, you got Hero and Baymax. This whole team is about Merida just dominating the enemy, or Go-Go. It's going to be your choice, but Poca's a great fit for both. So Cozy Club, we've talked about it. We've talked about the abilities, the best teammates, the best fit for everything. Make sure you guys study this guide, know exactly how these abilities work, because you're going to have access to one of the best characters within DSA, who's going to continue to be a great plug-and-play character. And as a bonus that we didn't talk about, when more princesses come out, Raya coming soon, I can only imagine her getting even better, as the princess faction is not far from being an absolutely legit faction under a Rapunzel lead. So Poca, Rapunzel, put them with the princesses. She's gonna absolutely slap with them as well. Hopefully you guys learned all the questions you guys were wondering about Pocahontas, looked at the scaling damage, looked at the scaling health, and everything in between. Guys, love firing out these character spotlight videos. Don't forget, if you haven't, over 50% of you guys are not subscribed. So join the Cozy Club today. Like the video because it helps out massively. And until next time, stay cozy.